with coverage you can count on. This is the Erie News Nowcast.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Haley Potter. Thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of the Erie News Nowcast. Today was the big day, and our community once again shows its generosity. The 21st annual Erie News Now food drive, benefiting the Second Harvest Food Bank, was a big success once again. The food drive wrapped up at 6:30 tonight, so for more than 12 hours, people in our community came out all over the region to help those in need in their respective communities. Volunteers spent the day at 13 drop-off locations collecting food and monetary donations. We just got the final numbers a little while ago. In just one day, a total of 30,862 pounds of food have been collected. 479 turkeys have been collected, including 172 in Erie, which is an all-time record. The food drive also collected $63,425, which is the second highest total in the past 21 years. Those monetary donations are critical. Each dollar will help provide 6 meals to families in need. And with as many families still feeling that pandemic pinch, Karen Sedgy of the Second Harvest Food Bank said the contributions are crucial.
You know, the pandemic affected a lot of people, and unfortunately there still is a great need out there. So, you know, doing this is really just making everybody feel a little bit more normal and really making them feel good about being a part of this community.
And all of the donations will stay right in the community which you donated them to. And we're thankful for another successful food drive, but what exactly is next? Where does all this food go? Well, tonight we're following the food from when it leaves the donation locations and arrives to a place where it's needed. Our Keelan Berrien takes us to one local food pantry.
It's always nice to give back when we can and, you know, try to help people that's in need to get food.
Yeah, still do a row just on half the box.
Rows of food fill the table as people drop off donations. But when the boxes are packed, sealed, and put away on delivery trucks, what happens next?
Here in Erie, this food's going to go back to the food bank and we'll distribute it out to our agencies.
And the donations is given to local food pantries the same day.
And once boxes are packed and they're put onto Second Harvest Food Bank trucks, they're then sent off to different sites. This year, they have 13 different ones, and one of them includes Bethany Outreach.
It's more important now for us to help to provide the necessary food for the families to get by for the season.
Maybelline Howard organizes a pantry weekly with Bethany Outreach Center. Sign-up sheets are put out months in advance. On the day of food distribution, families walk away with one box.
If your name is on this site and then maybe another food pantry, then they would cross it off one list and let you know that you have to pick up your turkey and your fixings at this particular site, but you cannot go to this pantry.
Erie News Now's food drive brought many donations, and Sade Williams brought bags with her. She understands for some, it's a challenge to have food.
I just hope everybody have a good holiday and enjoy the food, and I just like to see when the community comes together.
Keelan Berrien, Erie News Now.
The number of drug overdose deaths in the U.S. has hit an all-time high. Figures from the CDC indicate an estimated 100,000 Americans died of drug overdoses in 1 year. That's the highest single-year total on record. Now, experts say it's tied to the COVID-19 pandemic and a more dangerous drug supply. Overdose deaths have been rising for more than 2 decades, but they accelerated dramatically in the past 2 years, jumping nearly 30% in the last year alone. So is the overdose death trend the same here in Erie County? The answer we found is quite interesting. While overdose calls are up from last year, here in Erie County, deaths are about on par with 2020. It's safe to say daily Emergicare responds to rescue someone who has overdosed. Erie County Coroner Lyle Cook says of 74 overdose deaths here so far this year, 57 of them, or 77%, OD'd on fentanyl, 27 died from meth, 15 cocaine, and surprisingly, heroin was lowest on the list, taking 9 lives. While any OD death is one too many, clearly rescuers are saving lives.
So since the beginning of August, we've seen our overdose calls nearly double compared to what we've seen in 2020. So we're well over 100 for that short time period, whereas the year prior we were right around in mid-60s.
Well, as of today, we've I've actually ruled on only 74 drug deaths for the entire year. Last year we had 80 for the entire year, so we're staying pretty accurate.
And with lab delays, Cook expects another 10 drug deaths are pending. Meantime, 8 new emergency medical technicians will be answering the call after graduating today from EmergiCare's new EMT Academy. EmergiCare awarded diplomas today and recognized the grads at a special lunch. They've completed 8 weeks of intensive training in how to respond to emergency calls of all kinds. EmergiCare launched the EMT Academy in September to address a staffing crisis. They started with a class of 12, but only 8 finished the challenging training. They were paid part-time wages during the process, but now graduate to full-time jobs with benefits, and it's safe to say they're pretty excited.
So how much of an opportunity is this for you?
A huge opportunity. I mean, they paid me for me to go to school to be here, and then they're setting me up with a full-time job when I'm done.
I wanted to do something that made a bit more difference, and I've known this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and his opportunity was just the right timing for it.
They'll earn $13 an hour plus full benefits and have the opportunity to go on paramedic training. EmergiCare starts the next academy in March. Moderna has resubmitted its request to the FDA for booster shots of its COVID-19 vaccine to be made available to everyone over 18. Moderna boosters are currently available for people over 65 or those who are at high risk. Approval from the FDA and CDC would open the door for tens of millions of Americans to receive a third shot of this vaccine. Moderna originally submitted its application back in September. The FDA, which is expected to approve the Pfizer vaccine boosters for all adults as early as this week, must now review the latest submission from Moderna as well. People who received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine are already eligible for a booster shot. And with daily case counts high all over our region, local hospitals are feeling the strain and doctors are urging caution around the holiday season. Both AHN St. Vincent and UPMC Hammett have more than 40 COVID patients in their hospitals. That's the most they've had since December of last year. They say they're managing, but hospitals are usually busy this time of year, and dozens of COVID cases mean staff are stretched thin. So with the holidays approaching, doctors say smaller gatherings can help limit the virus's spread. They urge vaccination, and they say if you're eligible, get a booster shot for an extra layer of protection.
Clearly, if they're feeling sick, not feeling well, that they shouldn't get together with one another. That's pretty obvious, but try to keep your gatherings small if possible. For sure, it can help to reduce the spread in gatherings.
And doctors say that common sense is key. We saw a big surge in cases after the holidays last year, and local hospital leaders hope to avoid that this season. The election is now weeks behind us, and the Erie County Board of Elections certified the vote in local races on Tuesday. So why are they still counting votes? An automatic recount kicked off in the race for the Commonwealth Court judge, so every county in PA is now recounting those votes. In Erie County, they started the process this morning, reopening vote bags from all of the 149 precincts and counting them again using the county's central scanner. Republican Stacey Wallace won one seat, but the race between Democrat Lori Dumas and Republican Drew Crompton is closer than a half percentage point. The recount here is expected to take a couple of days.
We have to perform the recount on a different device than the original count was done. So you see, we brought in all of the ballots that were scanned at the precincts, at the polls, and we're scanning them centrally. All of the mail-in ballots will be scanned on another scanner.
And again, they'll have those results for us here in just a few days. Thanks for joining us for the Erie News Nowcast. Join us for our next news at 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on WICU and WSEE. Have a great night.